Welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're getting into the insights for August 12th, 2025. We've got that really interesting material from Tarot by High C.
Right.
And our mission, well, it's to pull out those powerful nuggets,
Mm-hmm.
from the astrology, the tarot, a story.
A great mix.
Yeah, to give you a real handle on a day that feels like it's got some um, deep emotional and structural stuff going on.
It really does. And Tarot by High C gives us such a fascinating combination here. You've got the daily astrology, a TarotScope, and then this story.
Mm-hmm.
And what's cool is how they kind of weave together. You start to see these big themes emerging, personal transformation, how he adapts, finding that inner truth. It's all in there.
I definitely see that thread. Okay, so let's start with the astrological tone for the 12th. The astrology of the day, it kicks off with this core idea. Being nurtured is possible, but we may also become aware of what that costs us.
That's potent.
It is, right. And it's not just about, oh, great, support is available. It's immediately followed by this, reality check. Are we really seeing the compromises, the invisible trade-offs we make for that comfort? It hints we could get our biggest longings fulfilled.
Which sounds amazing.
Totally. But then, boom, the realization that maybe getting that support means we need to rein in some of our individual desires.
Ah, the catch.
Exactly. So the advice is pretty clear. Stay conscious of any compromises we choose to accept. Really see them.
And that links beautifully to the morning's energy, which is described, interestingly, as an emotional obstacle course.
Obstacle course. Sounds draining.
Well, you'd think so, but the text suggests it's actually not about depleting you. It's more like a workout for your emotions.
Okay.
It might feel tricky, maybe some frustration bubbles up, but through that, it actually brings compassion and intuition, transformative depth, even that necessary tension that fuels a breakthrough.
Ah, so it's productive tension.
Exactly. Productive tension. And crucially, the communication skills to navigate it all consciously. So you're not just feeling it, you're understanding and potentially talking about it.
That's a key difference. Not drained, strengthened. And you mentioned emotions. The morning's Aries moon influence. Aries is pretty direct.
Fiery, wants action.
So this influence demands authentic emotional expression even when it's messy or uncomfortable.
Right. No holding back.
So the takeaway is pay attention to those gut feelings, those reactions in the morning. They've got important information about what needs to change. Let it out. Don't bottle it up.
Precisely. Feel the messy feelings. Because the good news is the afternoon seems to offer a clearer path, a way to articulate those insights.
Okay.
It's like you turn that raw feeling into understanding. You get clarity from those internal shifts that started earlier.
Right. Processing time. Okay, now for a really interesting shift, the TarotScope of the day. We get the 19 tower reversed from the Lunar Nomad Oracle.
Ah, the tower. Always gets attention.
It does. Usually signals, chaos, sudden change. But reversed. And from this deck, sounds like it's something different, more subtle.
Exactly. It's fascinating. The core insight seems to be this paradox.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes real transformation isn't the big explosion. It's the conscious, maybe even quiet dismantling of things that are already crumbling inside.
So proactive deconstruction.
Yeah, you could say that. It's not waiting for it to fall down.
Yeah.
So first layer, quiet collapse of inner scaffolding or an erosion of boundaries.
Inner scaffolding, like old beliefs.
Exactly. Beliefs, rules you live by, things you always counted on that suddenly feel wobbly.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe boundaries you thought were protective are actually just, keeping good things out.
Mm-hmm.
It's about looking at where rigidity is no longer serving us and making space for something more. Adaptable human scale.
Human scale, I like that.
And the key advice is spot on. Take it apart piece by piece rather than toppling it in frustration.
So deliberate, not just smashing things, like taking down a wall carefully, not with a sledgehammer.
Exactly. It's mindful deconstruction.
Uh-huh.
Because sometimes it's those little quiet cracks that tell you the most.
Yeah.
Which leads to the next point, cracks in the system. This suggests that structures we rely on, maybe institutions, maybe personal routines or relationships, they may feel unreliable.
Things feel shaky.
Yeah. And the crucial insight here is not just to paper over the cracks, but to consider whether part of the structure needs to come down.
Wow. Okay. So a fundamental rethink, not just a patch job.
Right. It's asking bigger questions. Don't just fix the symptom. Look at the cause.
That's a big ask, but probably necessary sometimes. What else is in this reverse tower?
Well, there's also the loss of perspective. So relevant today. What used to be a clear vantage point can tilt into distorted vision or echo chambers.
Oh, yeah. We all know that feeling.
Right. You get stuck in one way of seeing things, maybe your social media feed, maybe just your own head,
Mm-hmm.
and you find yourself holding on to a belief system or rule set that once gave clarity but now feels confining. Stuck.
So the advice is
Simple but hard. Seek outside perspectives. Break out of the bubble.
easier said than done sometimes, but crucial. How does this connect to, like, our connections with other people?
Leads right into it. Isolation turning into disconnection.
Mm.
That necessary solitude can curdle into loneliness. Sturdy independence can become, well, stubborn separation.
Ah.
We might have these self-protective walls upright, but they end up keeping out the very connections that could nourish us.
The walls keep out the good stuff, too.
Exactly. So if you feel like you've been in a kind of mental or emotional high tower, the message is clear. Let in new influences, art, conversation, nature. Open a window.
Let something fresh in. Makes sense. And the last piece, something about authority.
Yes, over-identification with authority. This is about maybe clinging to status or control in ways that limit adaptability.
Like holding on to an old job title that doesn't fit anymore.
Exactly. Or an outdated role
Yeah.
that defines too much of our identity. You become the role, not yourself.
Right.
And the resolution is powerful. Redefine authority by trusting our inner authority over external rules that feel misaligned. Trust yourself more than the old rule book.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot packed into one reversed card. It's
Sure.
really not about disaster striking, is it? It's more like gently taking things apart to rebuild better.
Precisely. It's about conscious change, building something truer to yourself. Less about chaos, more about careful reconstruction.
Okay, so we've got these big ideas, compromises, emotional workouts, dismantling old structures. But how does this actually feel? How does it play out? Let's bring in the story. The Leaning Watchtower.
Ah, yes, Lyra's story.
Right, so picture Lyra. She lives alone in this ancient leaning tower, feels ancient, weathered. She tells herself she's guarding history, but really, it's her refuge from a world that felt too unpredictable.
Hiding away.
Totally. And here's the kicker. She hadn't looked out in years, just stayed inside.
That's such a perfect metaphor for the tower reverse meanings, isn't it? Her high tower is that isolation, the outdated structure she's clinging to.
Exactly. Believing it's safety, but it's actually confinement.
Keeps her safe, keeps her stuck.
Then comes the catalyst. A strange wind blows through, carrying this unusual scent, lemon balm and rosemary. And it leads her to find this pouch on her door.
Okay.
Inside, a sprig of hawthorn, a shard of labradorite, and this simple, powerful note: the view is not the world. Step outside.
Wow. Just like that.
Just like that, and it hits her. That night, she has these dreams, the tower's walls turning to mist, hearing voices she hadn't heard in years calling her name, seeing a firelit village in the distance.
Ah, the inner shift. The walls are already dissolving in her mind. That longing for connection is breaking through.
Yes, it's the subconscious saying, it's time. So she doesn't ignore it. At dawn, she takes the stone, the labradorite, tucks the hawthorn sprig somewhere safe,
Takes the tools.
and opens the heavy oak door. And as she steps out, the mist that always clung to the tower, it just parts, reveals a clear path forward.
That's beautiful. The world literally opening up as she takes the step.
And here's the transformation. With each pace, she felt the weight of the tower's walls slip from her shoulders, that physical feeling of release.
Letting go.
She realizes her watch was over. Not because the tower failed, but because she no longer needed its height to feel safe.
That's it right there. Trusting her inner authority, just like the tarot suggested. Letting go of the external structure because the internal foundation is shifting. It's liberation.
Total liberation.
Yeah.
And the story ends with the tower behind her, not as a prison, but as a monument to a chapter closed. And she's moving towards those voices and laughter, towards connection.
What a perfect illustration. So if we tie it all together, the astrology sets this stage, right? Recognizing the give and take, the cost of comfort.
Right, the conscious compromise.
Then the tower reversed gives us the framework for that quiet internal deconstruction. Examining rigidity, seeking new views.
Making it piece by piece.
And Lyra's story just brings it all home. It shows that process in action. Letting go of the old refuge, trusting yourself, stepping out into the world. It makes it tangible.
Absolutely. So the question for you, listening right now, what stands out? Where are your personal leaning watchtowers? You know, those outdated beliefs, roles, maybe just habits, those walls you think protect you, but might actually be limiting your growth, your connections.
Where might you need that quiet piece-by-piece transformation instead of, waiting for a crisis to force your hand?
It's really about proactive change.
Yeah. And remember, the wisdom here isn't about inviting chaos. It's about a conscious, strengthening reevaluation, finding those more adaptable, more human-scale ways of being in your life, building something that really fits who you are now.
It feels like August 12th is really rich with potential then. Potential to understand our desires, the costs, the gains,
Mhm.
to gently dismantle what's holding us back, and, like Lyra, to step out of old refuges and embrace what's next. New connections.
So maybe a final thought to ponder. How do you actually notice those subtle signs?
Yeah.
The whispers telling you that your clear vantage point has maybe become an echo chamber.
Ooh, good question. When does clarity become confinement?
Exactly. And once you notice, what's the first tiny step, maybe almost invisible, that you can take to consciously let in new influences? Something small that starts to nourish you in a new way.
Just one small step. Love that. We really hope these insights and Lyra's journey out of the Leaning Watchtower resonate and maybe offer some guidance as you move through your day.
Yeah, food for thought.
Go forth, dive deep into your own stories.